So there's this quote that I've heard that has always stuck with me that there's no human more human than another human. So just keep that quote in mind. After World War II, the United Nations, which is a collection of countries, got together to make sure that what Hitler did that never happens again. So like that's the goal of the United Nations is international peace and security. And you never let a guy rise to power that's going to kill other people. So they define the term genocide. Genocide is a deliberate and systematic destruction, in whole or in part, of an ethnic, racial, religious, or national group. So the goal of the United Nations, one of their goals is to stop genocide from happening. Unfortunately, since World War II, there still have been cases of genocide. So we're going to go look at Rwanda. Rwanda, I'm sorry I don't have a map picture. It's a landlocked country in Africa. So there's a lot of diversity in Africa. Being landlocked can be a little bit more of a struggle because you just don't have access to resources. So going way back in Rwanda to the 15th century, there was this tribe that was called the Tutsis. And the Tutsis had roamed and ruled most of the land. After World War I, there was kind of this scramble for land in Africa by all of these European countries. Like they all wanted to be imperialist. And so when the Belgians got there, they put the Tutsis kind of in charge with Belgium. The Tutsis, however, they were a minority of the population by this time. They were mostly herders, where the other major group in Rwanda was called the Hutus. The Hutus were more of like your croppers, so that type of farmers. They were more your laborers. So there's two different tribes. The Tutsis, they maybe came from like Ethiopia, which is in the north. So they tend to be like a little bit lighter skinned sometimes, while the Hutus came from southern Africa. So sometimes maybe like a little bit darker skinned, but not a lot of differences between the Tutsis and the Hutus. So when Belgians got there, they gave identity cards for every person according to their ethnicity. So like your ID card would say your ethnicity, Tutsi or Hutu. And again, like they saw the Tutsis to be superior. So like only Tutsis could be educated and the Hutus had to be like your lower level workers. And there ends up kind of getting this to be this resentment. The Hutus were realizing like, hey, this is unfair. And in 1959, they start to riot and they start to attack Tutsis. People start to flee. Tutsis are going to get thrown into the rivers by the Hutus saying that, hey, we're sending you back to Ethiopia where you came from. Well, then you go to 1962, Belgium is going to leave. This is after World War II. And one of the problems with Africa, why you sometimes have like these coups and these struggles still, is basically when European countries left, like they just up and left. There wasn't a lot of order. Like it's just, hey, we're gone. So there's going to be some struggles when Belgium leaves.